This video is an accompany piece to the Warhound tutorial I've posted up very recently. If you want to know how to paint the metallics in greater depth, refer to that video. But for this video we look at how to create and how to pronounce House Vornherr. I hope I got that right. All begins with a good pre-coat. I've used the Badger black primer on all the armor plate. I've left the most prominent armor plates on the sprue, and I've airbrushed them with Medea Comart opaque white. Now, when defining the volumes, I'm sure you're sick of hearing me talking about volumes, but a good pre-coat does do so much for us. It sets us up for success. It's that secret stage that'll separate your miniatures from the rest, because not only do we give it, or all the colours we place on top of it, that chance for a black shadow and white highlight, it also defines the actual sculpt itself. Now let's have a look at how we do it on this miniature. You can see how I'm using the sculpt to my advantage. I'm not just airbrushing it as a direct zenithal highlight. I'm using the airbrush slightly off to the side and picking up the edges of the armor plate. And I didn't have to mask it off at all. It's just knowing how to use the sculpt to your advantage. I'm not being afraid to twist it and manipulate it. I'm not painting a strictly zenithal highlighting principle. Now, House Vornherr, it's a very good example household for a couple of reasons, one of which being that dreaded yellow colour. I feel like a bit of a broken record when you say, oh, yellow is a problem colour, red is a problem colour, black, white is a problem. What colour isn't a problem colour? They all have their own difficulties, they all have their own unique challenges. Yellow is no different. I can understand because it is such a luminous colour, so there's a colour that appears brighter to the human eye than any other colour on the colour wheel. And the fact that most paints out there don't offer too good of coverage. That's why you'll tend to find that highly pigmented paints, really nice rich yellows like Sol Yellow, struggle to cover up anything, purely because all the colours we're trying to base it or build it up on top of are normally darker unless it's white. So I've just given all the armour plates a zenithal highlight of white. Okay, next up we are using Brown Leather by Vallejo, and this is roughly 2 parts paint to 1 part water, so it's not awfully thin down, and this is just a regular Vallejo model colour paint. I'll base coat all the yellow sections of the armour with this. Why brown leather? Well, because the exact reason we talked about just now. Yellow has a problem with coverage. If you use a darker mustard colour, something that has brown notes in it, it will offer us a better base coat to start building up our own tones. It also takes away some of the harshness of the black background. So once we've built that up, we can move on to Sol Yellow. Sol Yellow is then used to create a highlight. So this is airbrush from the mid-tone right the way through to the highlight. Again, breaking the job into 5 portions: shadow, lower mid-tone, mid-tone, upper mid-tone, and highlight. This goes from the mid-tone up through to the highlight. Don't be afraid to push it lower than that, because it does struggle over the black. We can use that to our advantage, but what we want to end up with is a bright, crisp, clean lemon yellow that when we apply varnishes and washes over the top of, it will dull it down to that more mustardy tone of House Vornherr. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Vornherr, Vornherr. But yeah, that's the basis I use to create yellow tones with my miniatures. Start with a black and white base coat, use a brown to break it up, or a mustard tone to help the yellow cover, and then I build with sol yellow on top of that. And this can be applied to Imperial Fists, anything you're painting yellow. After masking off areas of the miniature, I use white tack or blue tack, as well as Tamiya tape. I use a mixture of blood red and crimson ink, and this is airbrushed across the armor panels. Now if you look at the House Vornherr scheme, most of it is in red, so you don't need to be too shy with applying this stuff. One of the beautiful things in the run-up to this is that, well, we've already given the armor plates a pre-shade. The yellow and the black, we've already done the groundwork, we just need to build on top of it. Next up, I'm using Hot Orange by Vallejo. Again, 2 parts paint to 1 part acrylic flow improver. Here's an example of the metallics. If you do want to know how I created the base coats for the metallics, please refer to the Warhound Titanicus video. I've applied a pin wash to the armor plate to define them. I've also added some scratches using sol yellow and a sponge across the armor plate. Decals were applied in the usual method. If you want to know how to apply decals, please refer to any of the vehicle tutorials posted up so far. But at this stage, it's a really nice one to concentrate on because we are using waxes. Now, when we use waxes, we want to use them as a dry compound. We don't want to mix them with any water because they're either enamel based or oil based, so water won't mix with them. We begin the highlighting process by using this battered old little brush using copper, and this is on top of a base coat of decayed metal washed with oil paint, and then I'll use brass to create the highlight. All I'm doing is using stabbing motions up and down to create that mottled, broken effect to the armor plate. It's as simple as that, and the results are unbelievable. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this accompaniment video to the Warhound tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've picked up something from it. It's a very quick, close look at how to create a House Vornherr scheme. More night tutorials to come. Thank you very much. I'll catch you in the next vid. Bye bye.